I'm here on the job site with Dale, who's a framing contractor.
Hey, good morning.
Dale traded up to Geico Commercial Auto Insurance for all his business vehicles. We're here where he needs us most.
Yep, they sure are.
We make it easy for him to save on all his insurance needs, all in one place, with coverage that fits his business and bottom line. Oh, I shouldn't have looked down.
It's all right.
We're so far up here.
Look at me. Take a deep breath.
No, I'm good. So good.
Get a commercial auto insurance quote today at geico.com and see how much you could save. It feels good to Geico.
Don't miss your chance to win big every week on the KSL Sports Zone. This week, you can win tickets to see Weezer with the Shins and Silver Sun Pickups at the Maverick Center on September 15th. Get your tickets now at livenation.com or listen to the KSL Sports Zone all day Wednesday for your chance to win. DJ, PK, we're joined now by Riley Jensen. We usually have Riley on to talk about college football, to talk about quarterback play as a former Snow College.
Tennis.
Briefly BYU, and then Utah State quarterback. Yes, tennis is his thing. So Riley goes on Twitter yesterday and celebrates Easter with a, I don't know, what is this, the 800-word post? 271 comments, 218 retweets, 2,000 likes, people calling you out, people pumping you up, you responding to a bunch of them, which just sent people scattering. Riley, did you not have some family event or dinner or something tomorrow, yesterday? I mean, you just had all kinds of time for this.
I did. I think, look, I'm not trying to be the bad guy here. I'm not trying to be a real pain. I was just frustrated yesterday because one of my fondest memories, honestly, was when I grew up, and I'm a member of the predominant faith. We used to watch LDS conference, and then in between, my dad and I would go up to the school and play catch on the football field. Sometimes we'd pull out a timer and do 40-yard dash times. We'd just have fun in between the sessions, and then we'd go back and watch the rest. Now, yesterday happened to be Easter, so it is what it is. But what was frustrating to me yesterday is my son and my daughter wanted to go, and my daughter wanted me. She's running track for her junior high team. She wanted me to time her, and she wanted to work on getting out of the blocks and do some different things. And I went to two of the schools that are closest to me, and it's locked down like Fort Knox. Now, I will say this. It was Easter yesterday, so maybe that's part of the reason. But I've been there plenty of times lately where you can't get in. It's locked down like Fort Knox. And, I've looked into the laws before and the different things. And when you're a taxpayer in the neighborhood, you're supposed to – it's called – the law refers to these schools as civic centers. And it says that as long as it's not during school hours or during school activities, that these facilities should be open to the public for use. Now, you can get into it with me about there is some places where it says that they can charge, but I've tried to rent fields there before. Do you know it costs over $400 to rent a football field right now, an hour. So that's reasonable for me as a taxpayer. I'm just frustrated, and I think the reason why it went viral is not because of anything that I said, but I think other people are frustrated about it. And there's all kinds of comments like, well, it's because of dog people and they don't take care of their dogs and there's vandalism. I just think that that's a 1960s dad response to, this is why we can't have nice things. Look, this is nuanced. And there's got to be a way, and there was actually some really good solutions that I saw in response to my tweet or my post that are very, very good responses. And I just think that there has to be a better answer than to just lock it down and make it not possible for me to time my daughter on a track on a Sunday afternoon. That just seems ridiculous to me.
Okay.
No disagreement from you? I mean, come on, PK.
Well,
it's early. Let's go.
I was thinking back to my youth And when I was living back east, Parsippany High School, and my father and I would go up and throw the football around. And we'd take the dog, and we would literally just throw the football. And my father fancied himself as a kicker, and he would have me hold, and he would kick what he said was a 35-yard field goal. I always told him, I said, yeah, but Dad, when you run 20 yards, you can't count that as part of the distance for the kick. So
Nice.
we would have these arguments back and forth, but when DJ was explaining this situation, that's
You
what
were a
I
smart
thought
aleck
of.
from day one.
Yeah, of course. I agree with that.
I wonder how much this has changed recently. Riley, you did good jobs of characterizing the negativity. There was a local baseball coach who complained that he got in his field all set, and then he found the dugout just absolutely trashed. The Olympus High track and field coach identified himself. Let's hear it for people who identify themselves on Twitter before they say what they have to say. Own it. Love that. A lot of respect for that guy, even though I've never met him. I don't know who he is. And he talked about tracks, getting torn up, and there's 1,000+ athletes trying to use them just at Olympus High, alone. So I get where some of those people are going, but as recently as 15 years ago, I had a kid who had played tennis in elementary school, went away and played a bunch of other sports, and he wanted to make the high school team. He said, Dad, let's go hit. And so we went to 2 local high schools, one of them which I bet you were at, and we played on their tennis courts just a couple of times just so he could play a little bit before tryouts. And then once he was on his team, he'd always play with their friends. So it's not like we had to do it a lot, but they were accessible. They were open. And there were other people there on the tennis courts almost always when we went. We probably went 3 or 4 times. And there were always, people using some of the courts. They were never all in use, but there were other people there. No. So I wonder if that's changed a little bit or if the track is especially protected.
I don't know what the answer is. I feel like it's within the last 5 years it's become really bad. There've been some places that, even 10 years ago were locking it down. And look, I'm not saying that even I have all the answers. I would just like to have a conversation, and I'm working my angles to be able to have conversations about this. This isn't just something that I complain about all the time. I've actually looked into the law on it. I've looked into some different things. And I just think, look, vandalism will go down if there's a bunch of people on the courts and a bunch of people on the tracks, watching other people. I don't know the solution. I threw out maybe a bad solution to get security guards, and people are like, well, this will cost this much and this much and this much. But I know there's got to be some common sense solutions to this problem because, look, my daughter's 13. She's going to run on some of these tracks next year. She's in junior high. She wants. Look, in my book, Pure Unadulterated Guts, we talk about this, about how since 2007, when the iPhone was released, in 2012, when we reached critical mass, which means more than 50% of people had smartphones, teenagers in 8th, 10th, and 12th grades are often feel left out of things, and a lot of times they feel lonely, and it's through the roof where it's gone since 2012. So here I am as a parent and as a father trying to fight against that as much as I can by getting my kids outdoors, by getting my kids active. And it's just frustrating that schools that know these numbers and know these problems have doors locked down. And, people have been getting on me. They're like, well, have you ever tried a public park? Yeah. Tell me where there's a track at a public park that I can work on things with my daughter. Tell me where that is, And I don't know. I'm just frustrated. There has to be a better way. There has to be a better way.
What are you doing, PK?
I just thought of a Circle
Is that
K.
Mayberry?
Circle K commercial in Phoenix. There's gotta be an easier way. There's gotta be a better way.
I'm with Riley. I went right away to Mayberry. I'm like,
I thought he was like,
thought
he was thinking like that I just want to go back to the 50s where everything was more simple. And
I can appreciate and respect that, Richie. It's no problem. I do recall that one time when we were kicking footballs on the field. The high school was up a little hill, and you walked down. There was tennis courts, then there was a practice field, then there was the actual field. And it was a gradual decline, not that much, but a little bit of a decline. So we would park the car at the top, walk down, and this is New Jersey for you. While we were kicking the ball and throwing the ball, we look up, and there's two guys in my father's car trying to jumpstart it and steal it. True story. Absolute true story.
Well, hey, look, people in Utah are acting like that's happening at every high school because we're leaving the doors open.
And so my father says, they're stealing the car. What are we going to do? We take off running.
How old are you?
12?
Okay.
Yeah, we take off running, and it's not a big hill, but it is a little bit of an incline. And we take off running. We're hauling after him, screaming at him. Ah! We're using Dan Hurley's mother's language, which I had heard from my mother 1,000 times over, and my grandmother, for that matter. And as we got within where they could see us and certainly hear us, they jumped out of the car, got in their car, and peeled off.
Oh.
So the car did not get stolen.
But your dad was spot on. He wasn't just being paranoid. He was spot on.
In terms of, what do you mean?
They were trying to steal the car.
Oh, yeah, they were trying to steal the car. Yeah,
he was definitely right.
No, you could see why they were in the car trying to do the push it with the clutch thing to get it to go and then to take off. Yeah. And I used some choice language that...
right then? When you were 12? You were throwing it out then?
Hell yes.
I thought you were going to say heck yes. You're like, damage, Riley, damage. This was a big deal.
Right. But it's funny that, and I didn't know all this until DJ said it, that when you first said that, I hearkened back. We're going back many, many years. My father died in 2015. So we're going back many, many years. And I still, to this day, have that memory of him with me, squatting down as you would, holding the ball, and with my index finger, we all know that, and him running to kick the ball. And and I hadn't thought about that in a long time, but now that I think about it, it's one of the sweetest memories I had. Mm-hmm. And I still have.
Yeah, my dad was a high school teacher, and I played basketball, baseball, and football on the Bonita Vista High Fields, just killing time, waiting for him a few times when I got dropped off there when Mom was taking the other kids other places. And take a basketball, go shoot some baskets while your dad finishes up. Okay. Good time.
Listen, my dad was a school teacher. Some of my fondest memories, he used to teach community ed classes at night. He was he worked hard. And I remember that sometimes when I would ask him to go on a Saturday or Sunday over to the fields to hit baseballs or do something, I can remember that his face was tired, and I remember him making the effort anyway. And those are great memories to me too. I just want to look. I just feel like kids should be able to go to a field with their dad every once in a while, and it shouldn't be a big deal. Shouldn't be a big deal.
If you dove deeper into this, PK, you would love it, because Riley, who's generally a pretty easygoing guy, got super combative. Edward posts, every organization is scared bleepless of liability, and Riley tweeted back at him the Kobe meme, soft, with Kobe shaking his head. And it's not kid Kobe. This is veteran, shaved head Kobe. Soft. I got titles. You'll never get there. Soft.
I can remember that circumstance when they tried to rip off the car and we warded them off. Mm-hmm. He took out his smokes and we both sat there relaxed, sitting down, and we had a smoke, the two of us, and we went home.
One guy's tweeting at Riley, Too many things get ruined by locals. This taxpayer statement always gets me as a retired administrator. Your taxes pay for the fire department, Riley. Can you go in and slide down the fire pole? The taxes pay for the police. Can you go and play at a 911 call center?
Why would you want to do that?
Those places, yeah, and those places aren't called civic centers
Yeah.
in the law. So it's not a tired argument, and I'm glad you're tired of it because I'm going to keep arguing about it.
You go,
And
boy.
These people are they're just ticking me off because they're coming at me like I'm some kind of a jerkwad, like this is some sort of like a real nuisance that I'm coming up with. And so I'm tired of it. I'm not going to put up with stuff. There was one guy that tweeted at me, and I go, "Oh, I bet you're fun at parties." You know,
You tweeted multiple people that. I'm getting to that. You tweeted Utah code. You were copying and pasting code and tweeting it at people. I was entertained last night when I saw this. I should have gone to bed, but I was like, how bad is Riley going to go after these people?
I'm just tired of these weak sauce answers about like, well, but people poop on the field. Their dogs poop on the field. Dude, come on.
Yeah, I don't know that people poop on the field. That'd be really gross.
Yeah, I corrected that, but it's just I'm a little bit tired of it. And I'm not gonna put up with you calling me a jerk because I even when I posted I put frustrated dad alert, like
you did,
which to me means don't read it. You don't have to read it if you don't want to, but this is how I feel today. You know,
climb the fence and go, you bleep and bleep. You went right back at that guy. Good work, Riley.
Because that guy, it's really easy to tote my 6-year-old daughter over a 6-foot fence. Clearly a guy who doesn't have a family or hasn't had a family. It just ticked me off. All these answers, I'm like, wow, I never thought about jumping the fence. I've only jumped hundreds in my life. I mean, at Utah State University, when I was a kid, I was sneaking over the fence to get into games because I couldn't afford it. And that was in the 80s when games were like $2. Don't
all right, Riley.
me on jumping over a fence when we can figure out a solution where I don't have to jump a fence with my kids.
Hey, I can out poverty you though, buddy. You two, your dads were teachers. My father cleaned the toilets in the schools.
See, there you go. You got us.
I'm not going to lie, my dad did that as well. So we're equal.
He actually was the janitor. How about this? At a school that he cleaned in the afternoon, evening, where my sister was the principal.
Good for him, man. I actually can really respect that.
Me too. Absolutely, I really respect it. Me too.
Good, honest living. Trying to take care of his kids.
He did it very well, the best of his ability.
You're going to get me teared up now about good dads.
I'm already there.
Maybe I should go.
All right, one last thing before you go, and we can have you back on to talk about this another time. But I know you hear stuff about from all the local schools. You know people at every school now, and you hear stuff about spring football and all that. I know somebody who went to a BYU practice, and they're not a BYU fan, but they're part of the football community, and the football community is, super interconnected here with all the coaching hires that have been made. And they came away blown away by Bear Bachmeier. They said he's way better than he was as a freshman.
Wow.
And they were comparing him to Alex Smith. And I'm here to tell you, they are not a Cougar fan. This was not about the blue goggles and wishing it
That's
were
quite
so.
a recommendation by Ron McBride.
Yeah. So, have you heard that? Have you seen that? Do you believe that?
I've heard that he's doing very well in spring. This is exactly what you want to happen. I'm very happy that he's doing what he's supposed to do. But one of the things that happens once you've been the starter for a year and then you come back is just guys respond to you better because they know that you're the guy, and things are naturally going to go better in spring. But nobody on Texas Tech's football team really cares that Bear Bachmeier is better because they're like, he can't really throw the ball if I can freaking sack him in 1.21 seconds. So I'm always cautious about spring ball. It doesn't mean that he's not checking the box and doing what he's supposed to do, and I'm really happy for him because I think he's a great I think he's a great quarterback. I think he's a great person. I see him doing a lot of things out in public, and I'm not sure that if that was my son that I'd want him to do as much as he's doing off the field. I'd be like, hey, just play football, and everything will take care of itself. Be a nice, gracious person, but you don't have to go to every public signing and all that kind of stuff. But he's got the energy and he's got the ability to do that, and I like it. I'm just very cautious about anything that people say about spring ball.
Riley, we'll leave it there. We appreciate it. Thanks for joining us, and we will talk to you again.
Thanks for having me on. Have a great day, guys.
DJ and PK, it's 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone. Everything you missed in this show, next. Stay with us.
Just a bunch of guys sitting around and talking sports. This is Scotty G and Friends.
Tony Jones from The Athletic. When you get blown out at home by a team that lost 16 in a row, I applaud that lack of effort. That was impressive by the Jazz.
The lengths that the Jazz are going to pull this off and to make sure that they keep that pick. I got to say, this is the best front office in the league at this point. I'm all in. Because they're going to keep their pick, all right? They're going to get a top 5 pick. Listen, you ready for me to get wild on here?
Let's go.
I'm going to get
Let's
wild on this show.
Let's do it.
If the Utah Jazz get A.J. DeVancer, they're winning an NBA championship within 3 years.
Lloyd, you rolling on that? Lloyd's got it.
Lloyd, you got that?
Wow.
Catch Scotty G and Friends weekdays from noon to 3 on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
I think Mike Trout is tired of getting hit by pitches, don't you think?
I think anybody would be, yeah.
Took a pitch to his left hand when he was hitting in the 8th inning. He was upset post-game. Now, the x-rays did come back negative. It was a little surprising. Didn't look good. Guys get hit. Your hand's on the bat. That ball's coming in hot, and he's jumping around, and you're thinking, oh, man, is he out till the All-Star break? What just happened to his hand? He's been off to a good start, good opening week here, and he certainly battled injuries over the last few years. I guess we're ready now for the Angels to throw at the Mariners, right? There must be payback. Protect the star.
You hit me, I hit you. Yeah, I didn't make up the rules.
The rules were in place before any of us were born.
Yeah.
We spent a little time talking about the Utah Jazz. They were blown out by Oklahoma City, and Dallas got a massive game from Cooper Flagg. He followed up his 51-point game Friday with a 45-point game Sunday as the Mavericks win. Now, the Lakers, without Luka Doncic, without Austin Reeves, they're struggling. Doncic has actually gone to Utah for some type of special treatment, hoping it'll get him back sooner.
Utah? I heard he was going out of the country.
He was going to Europe.
You said Utah.
Oh, well, I meant Europe. Oh, sorry. I meant Europe. He's not headed
coming
to Utah.
to
He's headed to
Scipio.
Europe to speak special treatments with hopes of returning more quickly from that.
As far away that known as Moab.
I mean, we know that the guy has lived in Utah too long. He said that. We have that on recorded in the annals of history upon which it'll be known.
I've lived in Utah too long. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
Yep.
So now you're claiming you live in a foreign country.
I'm putting Utah in the middle of a sentence, and I'm trying to say Europe.
We know you hate it here.
Yeah, clearly.
Come
Obviously.
on.
Obviously. Paycheck is why I live in Utah.
Yeah, and for me, it's the love of the people. It's the red rock. It's the mountains. It's the snow.
That's total BS. You moved here for the job, just like me.
Yeah, but that's why I moved. But we're talking about remaining here. Oh, I've had multiple offers. I could have taken over my father's janitorial business.
Nice. You could be coaching baseball right now at Thunderbird High if you'd played your cards differently.
Oh, I would long be retired if I went in and followed through as a teacher. Are you kidding me? I'd have that. I'd have a pension.
That's a burnout of a job right there. You know, you've had a front row seat. You've watched it happen.
Yeah, one was ready, and the other being me. Let's keep going here. This is too much fun.
Exactly. I know you thought the Lakers were a dark horse. You think these injuries cut into your optimism on them?
It debilitates them. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes. Those.
I didn't really see him as a dark horse. I just didn't think it's going to be the Thunder.
Oh, you win 50 games. I think you have the ability. You deserve to be thought of as a dark horse. My dark horse, which really isn't a dark horse, but it is the Denver Nuggets. I'm looking for them to come out of the West. It's not really a dark horse, but in context, I guess you could say it is.
In context, I think it absolutely is. I think it absolutely is. But if you're looking for a third team,
yeah,
I think I still would have had Denver instead of LA as a third team.
Okay, but that's not my point. My point is if you've won 50 games in a regular season, you deserve to be considered as a threat. But now
Houston needs one more win.
Yeah.
Do you view them as a threat? They'll be at 50.
I think if you I'm not making myself clear, Yuck.
I just don't think Houston is a threat.
That's fine.
I mean, 50 is a nice number, and you got a certain amount of quality, and I get that, and I don't want to take that away from you. I'm not trying to rain on their parade. I just don't think they can beat the Spurs and the Thunder in back-to-back series, and that's what I think it's going to take to get out of the West, and that's a month of very high-level basketball.
Okay, but the other guy has to play a month of high-level basketball, too.
I think the Thunder and Spurs are up for it. I'll be surprised if anyone, Lakers, Nuggets, Rockets, Wolves, any one of those is able to take down both of those teams.
Well, it's not going to be the Lakers with these two
take down
guys
one of
out. Forget that.
No, that seems to end that.
I mean, that just cut them off right at the throat,
Right at the knee.
basically. I mean, come on. You're dealing with the best player, and on some nights, the second best player.
Cooper Flagg, 51 and 45. And, man, if Dallas gets lucky and gets a top 3 or 4 pick, that would really they've already gotten a major jump start to their rebuild, but another really good piece of the puzzle. And then all of a sudden, veteran role players want to play with those guys, and they've still got a little bit of money to spend on those guys because on spending on the rest of the roster because those guys are on rookie contracts. Dallas could find themselves in a pretty good place pretty quickly.
Yeah, well, would veteran players want to go there when the prior majority owner says he regrets selling the team to those people? That was a dumb thing to say.
If they're getting paid, yeah, I think they might want to go there.
Well, they would certainly wonder why Cuban does not recommend playing for these guys. He regrets selling them to those folks. Whoever those folks are, I don't even know.
The Adelson family and somebody else I don't know.
Never heard of them.
Yeah, I've heard of
the Adelson
Adelson
family and her son-in-law, who's kind of running the team.
Oh, the son-in-law was at it? Okay.
Yeah. Well, then he better stay married because you don't want to end up like some people.
The Adelsons are awash in cash. They're a big Vegas family. I'm surprised you don't know about them.
The Adelsons? I don't know anything about them. I don't run in those circles.
Anything else in the NBA entertain you over the weekend, or are you just waiting for the playoffs because that's when the real juice? That's where it's at.
As long as the Jazz continue to lose, that's really all that matters. And now they've pretty much cinched it. And so they're going to just have the opportunity to wait to see how the lottery falls. And then we go from there. This is what they wanted. This is what we all wanted for them. And they've done it. And
here we are.
I mean, next season, I don't want to hear about trying hard. I want to hear about winning.
Well, you want to be in that 50-win club and have people mention you as a dark horse.
Yeah, the first time you get there, I think you would probably be a dark horse no matter what you did. I don't know that they're going to win 50 games next year. We'll see how it plays out. But I mean, if you've got bona fide all-stars on your team, where the Jazz are still they're not in the rebuilding phase, but they're still in the building phase or the how does this play out phase? What are the roles of all the different people and all the guys that they have? That's going to be a feeling out process, and we've talked about this, that it wouldn't be surprising if they got off to a little bit of a slow start. I don't think that means that they're going to be bad. I think that with one basketball and 3 or 4 capable guys of going for 25 every game, they're going to have to figure stuff out, and that's what's going to be fascinating to see how it develops.
Will they be good enough defensively that helps them buy a little time and get some wins while they're still figuring out the offense? Every coach will tell you the offense is more complicated than the defense. It's easier to defend and disrupt than it is to go out there and have an offense that's really flowing. We've heard that from multiple coaches in multiple sports.
Well, that's up
wonder
to
how good they'll be.
The team to build a defensive identity and put defensive players out there and all that stuff. I mean, as Locke says, all the stuff that's been happening now, we've sort of blown off, particularly with these guys that they're running out there, that it doesn't really matter. They're not being held to a consequence that is that severe. Well, next year that all changes.
All right, DJ and PK, when we come back, your feedback next. Stay with us.
Make game day yours. Tickets, food and drinks, stats, and streaming. Everything you need is in the Utah Mammoth app. Download today and make game night easy. Download on both Android and iPhone. Tusk Top.
Derek Overstreet, founder of the New Millennium Group. We're a financial planning firm. We have advisors standing by right now to take your call. 888-999-6370. The reason you're going to want to call is we're going to help you retire 3 to 5 years before you thought possible. The way we do this is by putting together a step-by-step plan. So if you're one of those people listening and you'd like a plan in writing, give us a call at 888-999-6370. That's 888-999-6370, or go to utahsfinancialplanner.com.
Join Scotty G tomorrow, noon to 3. He'll be at My Hearing Centers, 8941 South, 700 East in Sandy.
You have hearing centers? Wow.
Yeah, that's how that works, PK.
Well, you said My Hearing Centers.
89% of the people in our poll think Michigan's going to win tonight. It's overwhelming. They've seen the Wolverines annihilating people, PK, and they think it's going to be a Wolverine kind of night.
Did you see
Michigan
Kyle was at
title.
the game? Kyle was at the Final Four in his Michigan gear.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's bled with that team for a good 3 months. He deserves it.
Really, it's a lot of suffering. They lost that Purdue game. He was crushed. They lost to Duke. He nearly gave up hope. That's about it, because I think their other loss was before. It might have been before he got hired. I'd have to check. I'm not sure he suffered all 3 of their defeats this year. He did suffer 2 of them, though. Maybe he suffered all 3. In which case, he's earned it.
I kind of would like to see Michigan. Michigan's got a kid from West Orange, New Jersey, where my mother was from. But Hurley there with the Northeast thing. I'll be happy either way. I would just like to see a nice competitive game. I don't think anything can top Duke and UConn. I understand that. But it would be fun if it went down to the end.
Got some drama in the final couple minutes.
I mean, I would have been bugged last Saturday night, except it was Arizona, and I didn't mind seeing them get clobbered. But other than that, they built that up as the de facto title game, yada, yada. Turned out not so much. If it was a de facto title game, then my gosh, I'm going to run out the window right now and put all my money on Michigan. If that really was the title game, then Michigan should clobber them, right?
I saw a spread earlier, 6.5. Yeah, that's where it still is. Michigan by 6.5 tonight. Yeah, they haven't played a game decided by single digits in this tournament. Alabama at 13 is the closest game. The average has been like 21.5 points. They've just been crushing people.
Yeah, that's a great run, because they don't. You look at the draft boards, it's not like they've got some player who's way up there and is going to be a top whatever selection.
Nope, they did it different. They had a very different game plan than Duke. Duke the last 2 years has gone out and tried to get multiple high draft picks. They probably had more high draft picks last year. They had the number 1 pick last year.
They had 4, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. They had 4 first-rounders, and I have to look, but I think 3 of them went in the lottery, and the 4th went just after, I think. I have to go back and check that.
Well, yeah, Maluk, the big center who was riding pine for Phoenix, was a top 10 pick.
So they didn't have quite as much pro talent this year. Cam Boozer obviously would be a top 3 pick. We'll see how that shakes out. They had Cooper Flagg at number 1 last year.
Yeah, I mean, but you can say, do this, do that. In a one-game basis, they easily could have won that game.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. For everything that happened, even the mistakes they made and the turnovers they had, and the whole second half was a mess, so it's not on any one player.
It's not like they failed. They didn't win the game. They
still needed a 35-footer to go in to win the game. It kicks off the back of the rim. Duke escapes. And I think they probably beat Illinois, and they're playing in the final tonight, which is where I expected them to be. But
I could see your logic there, I get it.
We have a lot of people weighing in. David Locke says Ace Bailey could be the number 1 option on offense for the Jazz by next February. Matt says highly unlikely. Eventually Ace will be the guy, but Lowry plus Key plus JJJ will be the dudes in February and likely all of next year. JJJ was taking a ton of offensive possessions for them in the few games he played. Not saying Ace won't have a big role, but the number 1 option, Weston, that's such a lock take. Ha 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 ha. No.
Yeah, well, we'll see how it plays out. But to me, there's no question it's a great problem to have. If you got too many, can you really have too many guys? That's up to Will Hardy now to put all the pieces together, and it's up to the players to, I may have to sacrifice this or that for the sake of winning. You want to lose again, or you want to win? What's it going to be?
There's going to have to be some sacrificing. Some of the numbers these guys have put up in the past, especially you can start with Markkanen, it's like there wasn't a good second option. They had to force feed him at times over these last 3.5 years because when he played, he was the best option by a mile. That ought to be different next year. The ball ought to be spread around. I do think the thing about Keontae George and Ace is that they're going to have the ball to start the possession. Markkanen and Jackson don't really create their shots. They have to wait for someone to get them the ball. And it's not even – maybe a little bit with JJ. You know, it used to be go in the post and demand the ball. And the game's not played that way. So people still have to look for them. But I expect the shots will be more shared. I think more to your point about how do guys accept a little less, but what has to be demanded of them is efficiency when their time comes. You got to be dialed in and ready to go when it's your time.
Oh, yeah, if you're open, make the shot. Yeah,
Yep.
I think they will,
Yep.
though. You got some excellent offensive players next season.
And depending on the lineups, you know, you might be the number 3 option in one lineup, but you might be the number 1 option for 5 or 6 minutes each half, depending on who's sitting at that point and who's playing on any given night and then just within a game who's rotated out.
I think, you have to make sure that they make room for Yak. Yak. Is it Kennedy Chandler or Chandler Kennedy?
Kennedy Chandler.
Yeah, you got to make sure you make room for him. He needs to get his FGAs.
See, this one goes right next to the text line. You don't have to know that, PK. You're not going to need to know that in the long run. So Yak is here to remind you now, but later on,
okay, man.
knowledge.
I hope Kennedy Chandler or Chandler Kennedy makes you eat your words.
Kennedy Chandler will be the number 1 option next February. Move over, Ace Bailey.
When the bench players come in.
Cinderella story.
Hey, I never learned the text line, and I was right at that.
Yeah. All right, we're all done. Jake and Ben are coming up next right here on The Zone. Scotty G says Utah State's got some kind of press conference or announcement coming at noon. Scotty will have that at noon. We'll have Masters qualifiers every hour all day long. Keep it tuned to The Zone.